Good morning, everyone. For the session today, which is for cargo work, we are going to have a look at what is called cargo securing manual. Cargo securing manual. So we go with what is the objective, how is it coming in force, background, etc. Cargo securing manual. Now, categorically speaking, this manual is a requirement coming from SOLAS, Chapter 6, which talks about carriage of cargoes, Chapter 6. So, storage and storage, Chapter 6. It applies to all ships which carry cargoes which require securing. So, it is a ship-specific manual. It is not generic. Some points are generic, of course, but mostly it is a ship-specific manual. So, this requirements for carrying this CSM cargo securing manual will be effective for ships below 500 GT also. They will be required to carry this manual. Although in this case the flag state may modify for protected coastal trade. If the vessel is going to trade only in coastal areas, the flag state may alter the requirement. Interestingly, even passenger ships will be required to carry this manual if they are, apart from passengers, they are specialized vessels and are carrying pipes, cable layers, etc., or offshore supply vessels. Now, you may have bulk carriers which are carrying bulk cargo, dry bulk cargo, but off and on they carry break bulk. It is possible. They carry break bulk or break bulk cargo, in which case they will also require to have an approved CSM. Of course, the timber deck cargo, which is a topic we have already covered, is going to be in accordance with the safe practice for ships carrying timber deck cargo. I'm sure you have had a look at that because timber deck cargo has been covered, which is talking of IMO code of safe practices for ships carrying timber deck cargo. This is this is not a substitute for CSM, but since it is a specialized trade carrying only timber, this can work in lieu of CSM. Just forgot to confirm. The shared screen is visible, candidates. Just forgot to confirm this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you okay? Okay, thank you. So that is the introduction. And SOLAS chapter 6, carriage of cargoes title is talking about it. Of course, the chapter itself applies to all carriage of cargoes where carriage is governed by storage and securing. If the ships are of less than 500 GT, the administration, which is the flag state, may consider, because of the sheltered nature of the voyage, to reconsider the application of any specific requirement. That will be only on the prerogative of the flag state if they feel that this voyage which is being undertaken by this vessel which is less than 500 GT is going to be confined to sheltered waters, or the nature of the voyage is such that it is unreasonable requirement to take any effective measures. So this is the chapter which talks about it. And the requirement for cargo securing manual is coming from SOLAS chapter 6 and 7, which require a CSM for all ships engaged in carrying of all cargo other than solid and liquid bulk cargo. There is IMO circular, you can just make a mental note of it, which talks about this. MSC 745-13. And this has become effective from 1st January 1998. So one thing is certain that it has to be an approved CSM, and the approval is authorized by the flag state. Approved means approved by the flag state, the administration. This is immediately done, or it is a requirement as soon as the vessel is flagged or put under one flag state. Then immediately, apart from other things, CS manual is to be approved. We are looking at the requirement and necessity. So approved manual, approved by the flag state. Ship specific information is to be included, which is what I was trying to tell you. This is not a generic manual, it is ship specific. So it will contain the words MV so and so, and then the requirement will start. Apart from this, code of safe practice for cargo storage and securing is also included. It contains both securing and safe practice for storage. For a timber carrier, information from timber code and class rules are also included in the manual. This is okay. Let us move on to some definitions which will be used in the cargo securing manual. Firstly, maximum securing load, MSL. This is a term used to define load capacity. Load capacity for a device used to secure cargo. SWL can be substituted for MSL for securing purposes, but then it has to be equal to or exceed the strength defined by MSL. Only then SWL can substitute. Instead of MSL, you can have SWL specified, but then in this case, for securing purposes, this should be equal to or should exceed the strength defined by MSL. I'm very sure you are noting down some things, not for the purpose of any other, except that when you note down, whenever you go back to revise, you will know that this is a point which was discussed and you can go back to it. Then another term used is standardized cargo. Standardized cargo is a cargo for which this particular vessel has got approved securing system, which is based on the cargo units of specific types. Let us say containers. So containers will have, which will be called standardized cargo, and the ship will be provided with approved securing system based on this type of cargo, which is containers, what we are talking about. On the other hand, non-standardized cargo is a
सर
cargo.
एक सेकेंड ऊपर कर लास्ट वाली slide।
Okay, okay.
हाँ ये वाली सर ये स्टैंडर्डाइज कार्गो और नॉन स्टैंडर्डाइज कार्गो विद रिस्पेक्ट टू शिप भी डिफाइन कर सकते हैं ना सर।
With respect to, say again.
विद रिस्पेक्ट टू शिप सर
Correct. As it is, we are looking at
ऐसे
securing manual, which on the onset we have said that it has to be vessel specific. It is a manual which is vessel specific. It is not a generic manual. Of course, guidelines from class, guidelines from flag state, etc. are generic, but the manual itself is vessel specific. So, if we say standardized cargo, it means cargo for which this ship, what we are talking about, has got approved security system, which depends on the type of cargo.
सर फिर तो कार्गो एक शिप का स्टैंडर्डाइज में नॉट बी स्टैंडर्डाइज फॉर अदर।
Yeah, possible, possible.
ओके सर।
एक मिनट रुको. Can I go down now?
हाँ सर यस।
In which case we are looking at this point, non-standardized cargo. Now this is not the type of cargo which is standardized, means cargo which requires individual storage and securing arrangements. In which case, the whole idea will be different. अगर तो एक कंटेनर वेसल है, just for example, then it has got a standardized cargo, for which the securing arrangement will be standardized, turnbuckles, twist locks, etc. But it may be non-standardized cargo, which is not being carried every day or which is not standardized for this vessel. Then the requirement will vary. 1 minute, I'll come back to it. It's 7. Like this, right? This is standardized container vessel and the security arrangement. I'm sure most of you, or some of you at least, have worked on container vessels. So for you, this will be easily recognizable. What do you say? You must have used this. Then simple definitions: fixed securing device, which is securing points, supports, which are welded into the hull, fixed, or on the hull structure. On the other hand, you could have portable securing devices which may be removed and brought back whenever required. Portable. Simple definitions, but important to know them because you never know what can be surfaced in the written or the oral exam. The oral, questions, which is a dedicated function, cargo function, has a separate oral component, and you can be led into it because it could start like this. I'm only imagining it could start like, have you heard? पहली बात तो ये है कि it is very surprising. I don't know. I'm not commenting on the method, but you are asked what kind of vessels you have done as you enter the oral area. You are asked what kind of vessels you have worked on. Although that information is there on the display from your application form, but still you are asked what kind of vessels you have done. And let us say, for example, the candidate comes up and says he has done only tankers. Very interestingly, it is at this point that the examiner may like to venture into bulk cargo. As I have already always said, the idea is to provide you with a certificate of competency to work as chief mate on any foreign cruise vessel. So he might go to bulk carriers, he might go to passenger vessels. In which case, he says he goes to bulk carriers, which is going to carry brake bulk. The next following question could be, I'm only saying could be, have you heard of cargo securing manual? Knowing fully well that you have said that you have done only tanker. Now he wants to test your knowledge for bulk carrier. So he asks you whether you have heard of cargo securing manual, to which you have replied in affirmative yes. And then he can move on to this. If you have heard of it, then tell me, do you know about fixed securing devices, portable securing devices, and things like that. So you can be led into it. You can be turned around into a question answer session for any ship which you might have not have done. So you should be always prepared. Because at that point of time you cannot say that you don't know. Don't know means then you are in trouble. If he's reasonably If he's reasonable, he might tell you to go and find out and come back. Or maybe if he's not in the proper mood or really is just no, you require more study, he might fail you. So this is the reason. Whether or not you have done any bulk cargo, loaded break bulk or not, you should be aware of this. I hope I'm getting across clearly. It is only a discussion. I'm not saying it is going to happen and it has happened every time, but it is possible. Now, again, a disclaimer is there for CSM also that this is not going to override good practices of seamanship, the CSM. Also, experience cannot be overridden. Experience in storage and securing may vary a little bit from the actual description given in the CSM, but this is not going to override. It will hold good seamanship, practices of good seamanship, principles of good seamanship, experience in storage and securing practices is an integral part of securing cargo. It is not going to override that. The CSM is not going to override that. It is actually supposed to, provide you information consistent with what is contained in the vessel's booklets, including international load line. And also,
सर ये पॉइंट ऊपर लिखा है इधर neither they can replace experience in stowaway and securing practice.
experience.
एक्सपीरियंस सर कई बार जो इसमें सिक्योरिंग दी होती है सीएसएम में इज डिफरेंट एज कंपेयर टू जनरल हम स्टोरिंग करते हैं. बेसिकली फॉर एग्जांपल सर कंटेनर की सिक्योरिंग में जनरली क्रॉस दिए रहते थे पर मेरी लास्ट शिप में सीएसएम में एक वर्टिकल था एक क्रॉस था तो
What
हम
is
तो
that?
सीएसएम फॉलो करेंगे ना.
Tell me,
हाँ दिस
what
वन
is
सर.
that? What are you talking about? You're talking about this?
करेक्ट सर. ये क्रॉस है ना हमारी सीएसएम में था एक वर्टिकल होगा एक क्रॉस होगा.
एक वर्टिकल होगा एक क्रॉस होगा.
करेक्ट सर.
And obviously, as you are discussing, it is also understood that the CSN was approved by the flag.
करेक्ट सर.
So then it's okay. You follow the CSN. At least you got a backing. At least you can justify why you have done this because that is what your CSN is saying. Basis हो गया ना.
तो फिर तो हम सर वही फॉलो करेंगे ना जो यहाँ तो लिखा है इट इज ओनली प्रोवाइडिंग गाइडेंस इन स्टोरेज एंड सिक्योरिटी. हम तो सीएसएम फॉलो करेंगे ना सर. ये थोड़ी अगर कोई एक्सपीरियंस से कोई कुछ और बोलेगा हम उसको थोड़ी फॉलो करेंगे सर.
मुझे एक बात बताओ, जस्ट फॉर मैटर ऑफ डिस्कशन, अगर आपके CSN में दिया था एक वर्टिकल है और एक क्रॉस है, राइट? तो
ये
हाउ
बॉटम वाली क्रॉस थी सर जो थर्ड ईयर पे जाती थी ना ऊपर उसकी. ये नीचे वाले तो ये थे क्रॉस. इधर से जब ऊपर जाती है ना सर थर्ड ईयर पे उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ सर. उसके सी साइड वर्टिकल है और जो दूसरी साइड है क्रॉस थी.
So can we also say this has come up from experience? Obviously, the storage of this cargo has been done, and with experience, it was realized this is a better method. So this is how it is going. This is why it says that nothing can substitute good practice, seamanship, or experience. So one thing could be done, as you observe, one thing could be done. You may go and apply for a revision of your CSM. In this case, you might say and prove to the flag state in a flag state inspection, which happens that this is the best method what we are following, and we request you to alter the CSM itself. But one thing is definite: if you follow the CSM, you're not in trouble. The CSM code is simply saying that the experience cannot be overridden. Good practice seamanship and This is, the guideline, and it cannot override the experience in storage and securing. Now, when you talk of securing devices, which we talked about even in uh, securing more heavy lift cargo, you have what is called transverse, longitudinal, and vertical forces. This can arise during adverse weather and sea conditions. Or even in normal sea conditions, this is definitely prevalent. Transverse, longitudinal, and vertical forces, if you remember, we had discussed this in heavy lift cargo. So, cargo securing arrangements should address these three-dimensional forces: transverse, longitudinal, and vertical. And this will get more pronounced in adverse weather. Now, one thing is quite imperative to note that safety of the ship, protection of cargo will occur or can happen only if the securing of cargo is carried out properly. Of course, and with use of appropriate securing points, which have been actually fitted for the use of cargo securing. You cannot have arbitrary securing, or if you want to alter and you build a pad eye just for securing, in this case, in this voyage, then that has to be approved by class. You can alter. You can have new pad eyes welded. But this is called structural modification for which you will require approval from the class. Otherwise, you have to go along and secure in the fittings which have been earmarked for cargo securing. This is very, very vital. Somehow we miss out on this, but you have got securing devices on board, right? But there should be sufficient reserve of this before you sail out. There should be sufficient reserve of these cargo securing devices, twist locks, or maybe cross rods, whatever. When you talk of container, you should have sufficient reserve so that if something fails or if something breaks, you have capacity to replace it. At that time, you cannot fabricate. This is a very vital point. You should have sufficient reserve of cargo securing devices on board prior to departure. It is not only the point about having the cargo securing devices on board, it also contains the point about instruction, use, and maintenance. Maintenance. So that is also very necessary that cargo securing devices are maintained in a satisfactory condition. Items worn out or damaged should be discarded. I can tell you one thing. Way back, I don't remember how many years, somewhere around 87 or 88, 1987, 1988, something. I was a fresh third mate on board a vessel which was not a container vessel but used to carry containers. And these devices were there: twist locks, cross rods, everything was there. ऊपर में भी सब थे. But it was my job, it was assigned to me to maintain them. Means this was a very relatively new ship. I'm talking of 1987. This was, I think, 85 built, relatively new. So the management, onboard management, realized there is no point of wasting time on LSFMA, and they assigned me to maintain these. Every day I used to go out, down them, take an inventory, like that. So they have to be maintained. And I'm sure some of you must have done that. Because let me tell you, loading containers in USA, which was not a container vessel, it was a break bulk vessel, but loading containers, which was also allowed. If this is not working, if this is not working, it is not able to turn, or it is frozen or something, these stevedores, especially the longshoremen from the west coast, Seattle, etc., used to just chuck it overboard. एक huge गाली देंगे और इसको उठा के फेंक देंगे पानी में. Not working. So I had a job at hand. Every departure port after loading, I had to go around and take a fresh inventory. कि कितनी फेंक दी इन्होंने. They have no patience. For which reason also you must delegate somebody to maintain them, to grease them. Now, Ro-Ro ships is entirely different for point of cargo securing. It is a topic we will cover. I don't think this has been addressed yet. Ro-Ro vessels. But let's have a look. Some important points of sources of danger for roll-off vessels. Cargo badly stored is one. Resurface effect in tank vehicles, tank containers, or other units. It is not only the free surface effect which is generated on board by empty tanks, by partially filled tanks, it is also an effect on roll-off vessels, roll-on, roll-off, RO vessels, which is taking effect because of tank vehicles being slack. Fuel compartments of the roll-on, roll-off ferry or cargo is having slack tanks. That can also give rise to free surface effect. Poorly maintained ramps. Poorly maintained ramps from where you're going to drive in or drive out, that is also going to cause a concern, which is there mentioned in that particular CSM of that vessel. Inadequate lighting, of course, this is concern for every vessel, but for Ro-Ro vessels, this becomes highlighted because this can lead to accidents. Inadequate illuminated decks. Wet decks, because for slippery things. Failure to apply brakes correctly. After you have parked the vehicle, you have not applied the brake. Failure to apply brakes correctly. These are some principal sources of danger. Right? Some highlighted points regarding Ro-Ro vessels. Of course, this is going to be taken up more seriously or more in detail when we actually go on the topic of RO vessels. ये अभी हुआ तो नहीं होगा Ro-Ro vessels. What is the feedback? Ro-Ro vessels has been done as cargo? I don't think so.
No, sir.
No?
नहीं हुआ.
नहीं हुआ. ठीक है. ठीक है. This is all coming from a generic cargo securing manual. When securing devices are replaced, the inventory list should be updated because you have to maintain a particular inventory of securing devices. So if you are replacing because something is not usable, okay, if it's required to replace, you have to replace. But then the inventory on the same time should be updated so that you have a proper list of what has been used and what is remaining. Whenever you are replacing
हेलो.
any
हाँ भाई, फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन डिस्कस कर लें, फटफट फिर करें.
सचिन म्यूट कर ले सचिन. म्यूट योरसेल्फ. नहीं तो हम लोग भी सुनेंगे क्या डिस्कस करने वाला है. जस्ट म्यूट योरसेल्फ. If you use special arrangement, lessing arrangements exceeding MSL, then you can cause serious structural damage because MSL is going to exert load on that particular point and special arrangement is there. You are exceeding the MSL and you can cause structural damage, serious structural damage. For example, a pad eye which has been welded and you are lashing onto it, but it has not been approved by the class. You are not sure about the strength underneath it. It may just wear off. It might just come off because of accelerating forces. So you can have serious structural damages, which is the reason I said in case you are altering the securing points by way of welding new ones, bad eyes, etc., or something which you're doing, you have to get a class approval. In fact, if you do not have a class approval, you're causing a breach of class itself. Any modification in the structural strength, any modification, I repeat, sorry, any modification causing structural strength alteration has to be approved by class. This is an example for use in the container, the type, quantity, MSL, twist lock foundation. That is the name of the securing device. Now this one, portable equipment could be used but should not be subjected to loads exceeding what has been customary usage in the past. You can have portable equipment to be used, but you cannot exceed the loads which have been customary used in past. So, in fact, if you are using a portable twist lock foundation, you should not exceed this. Simply, you cannot exceed this value. Inspection, maintenance must be carried out, delegated to somebody. Chief officer can delegate to somebody who's experienced a little bit in this, and the devices, when you talk about inspection, should actually include this: visual inspection before use, and I would say visual inspection after use. Any defective equipment to be discarded or stored in special bin. Sorry, typo है ये. SOED special, SPSCIAL, special bins, clearly marked discarded, so that nobody can inadvertently use it. It should be clearly stamped discarded, not to use, something like that. Okay, just 1 minute. I'll start sharing again. Just give me a minute. Of course, you're well versed with it, but no harm in repeating. Discarded parts or equipment should be replaced by equivalent parts. Cargo securing equipment is to be renewed only by certified equipment. Whatever equipment you're replacing by should carry a certification that it is tested in a laboratory or in a workshop. Only then you can use it. Interval for generic interval is 3 months for greasing. Portable security devices visually examined and greased, but interval should not exceed 3 months. It can be lesser than that. Weldings important. Connecting the fixed cargo securing equipment to ship structure. These are welded. Okay, that is the use. It is welded to the ship structure, and these welds must be regularly inspected for any fractures. It should be examined for any fractures it might have developed. If there is anything, then it has to be rewelded or maybe gauged out, taken out, removed, and replaced. And of course, people undertaking this because it is such an important thing is the role of deck fitters who are recognized, or at least there are fitters I know you must have also seen, they carry class certificates. Those should be preferred. They carry class certification. Their welding has been examined by class and approved. So those are the ones which should be used. अगर नहीं है तो फिर you will have to live with it until you find one. Now it is not only important of having a look at the cargo security requirement, it is also essential, whether loose or fit, it should be retested. Retested means this is sent ashore, the equipment is sent ashore, cargo securing equipment to a certified workshop, and it is retested and sent back to the vessel within the port stay. That equipment has been retested with a certificate. It can be done by random selection also, which means it is not necessary to send the full equipment. You may select randomly one or 50 pieces, maybe of each equipment, but you are taking a chance here. Preferably, it should be done for the full equipment, but there can be paucity of time, there can be concerns, commercial concerns. So maybe you can't do for everything, then you have to do random selection picking. ये एक और important point है. You see, the voyage may involve multiple ports of discharge. Multiple ports of discharge may say that you have partial discharge in one port, which can lead to exposure cargo surface because only part of it has been discharged. So this is again to be secured immediately to avoid hazards. If there is a exposed surface, cargo surface, then it has to be secured, resecured because it is a partial discharge. Documentation is very important. If you have done an examination, adjustment, flashing, this should be documented in the ship's record book, which could be a logbook also, which could be a PMS log. If not recorded, not done. So ISM says, plan it, do it, and record it. Very simply put, the principle is very simple. You must take into account dynamic forces in the most severe weather condition expected. Assume the worst case scenario and then secure accordingly. As I had discussed with you, very importantly, for agreeing to depart a load port and after securing, you have to assume that the night after you sail out is the worst case scenario. You will not wait for the weather to worsen. You will assume that adverse weather is going to strike the vessel immediately on sailing and lash and secure accordingly. Because most of the ports, most of the stevedores, most of the lashing foremen, etc., would like the ship to depart ASAP. So they will always keep insisting that everything is done. But your life is at stake. You are the person on scene, so do not agree simply. You must take a very careful view and relash if required. The money cost is really your concern. Yes, I agree. As chief officer, you got a concern for money, but it is not your primary concern. Your primary concern is the safety of cargo and the vessel. So move accordingly. Somebody else will take care of the commercial part. Somebody else will handle the financial impact. Now, you may have non-standardized cargo, which is not peculiar to the vessel, in which case your securing device, securing gear will have to be adapted for that particular cargo. Lashings are to be kept as short as possible so that you know accelerating forces are avoided. But of course, if required, you will use multiple lashings. The whole idea is that the cargo should not move at sea. Cargo spaces itself also should be examined regularly to see that nothing is going amiss, that the cargo spaces are still intact, that lashing can be done, nothing is broken. Now, one thing more you must remember as chief officer that once arrived on the discharge port, do not release lashings unless you are 100% sure that the vessel is all fast and is not liable to move. Fully secure. Only then you should release the lashings. There have been many cases, accidents in past where lashings have been released for unloading purpose even before the ship is secured because of commercial pressures. The charters have insisted that you unlash the cargo even before the stevedores come on board, which has led to some accidents, especially for timber carriage. Because once unlashed, the timber with slightest motion also can move. For ro-ro vessels, of course, a very clear thing that the cargo, which is roll on roll of ferries, trucks, cars, etc., will not obstruct the operating controls of stern doors, etc., or firefighting equipment. That is how it should be stored. We are looking also at storage of cargo, so this has to be taken into account that nothing is getting obstructed. Excessive acceleration because of the motion of vessel can occur anywhere, but they are more pronounced in the forward and aft part of the vessel. But as a rule, they can be as a result of high GM value. So avoid high GM by taking ballast maybe if stresses permit. Because of the distance, the lever furthest forward and furthest aft, therefore you can have large acceleration in this area because of lever, which is going to be excessive. Most effective lashings to a cargo unit are when they make an angle of 30 degree to 60 degree with the deck. If these angles are not possible, then additional lashing may be required. Now, estimated of these accelerating forces is obtained from the cargo securing manual of the particular vessel. Forces are estimated, calculations are included in the cargo securing manual depending on the location of the cargo, and then you can use this for estimating. You do your best, but then you see anti-roll devices should not deter you from not lashing properly. Just because you got anti-roll devices, it should not be taken into account for the purpose of planning and storage. This is only an additional measure which is going to help you, but should not be taken into account just in case you get, carried away that you got the anti-roll devices, so you lash improperly or maybe less. The sliding, which means the cargo is loaded here and this is the midshape. You can have a sliding effect during pitching. Can you follow this one? If you can see it on the screen, the this part labeled A is enhanced here, is enlarged here. Have a look, try to figure it out. Not very difficult. Longitudinal sliding. And we are now looking at a case where the ship in static condition is trimmed by stern. Trimmed by stern. Now have a look. Trimmed by stern. When trimmed by stern, is this possible? That you have the force of gravity acting like this to slide the cargo? Because you are trimmed by stern. And obviously it is exaggerated, not a normal trim, excessive trimming. Then you can have a sliding effect on the cargo itself, which is kept here in this position. So in static condition, the sliding can occur due to gravity. This one. While the ship is in motion, you can have 2 and 3 for pitching. This is sliding of the cargo because of pitching. Transverse sliding is because of, from the center line. Okay, you can have a look at this also during break time. And we take a small Kit Kat coffee break. We come back and meet at 12:45. Okay, 12:45.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, sir, sir,
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead.
sir, later on, sir, please upload the notes of SOP in the drive, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just before we end the class, around 13:45, can you remind me once more? I get your
Yeah.
point.
Okay, 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 sir.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you. So transversal, which is along the 4.5 line, will be something like this. This is expanded. This part is expanded here. It will have the effect of gravity, dynamic roll, dynamic heave, and wind if applicable. If applicable, wind also. When you got containers, wind will definitely affect the securing of the cargo also. And the vertical loads by gravity, by roll, by pitch and heave. Vertical loads. You will take into account these ones, which is longitudinal, transversal, and vertical loads to design lashings or reinforce lashings. For all three loads, lashing should be done to secure it in place. One thumb rule is there. No harm. Thumb rule. Just the rule of thumb. Total MS value, MSL, no, of the securing devices on each side of the unit of cargo, port or starboard, should be equal to the weight of the unit. And the weight of the unit in this case is taken in kilonewtons. That is the rule of thumb. Maximum securing values of the securing devices should be equal to the weight of the unit, where the weight of the unit is taken in kilonewtons. Just a rule of thumb. Then, what is the layout of the securing manual? It goes like this. Chapter 1, statements dealing with practice of good seamanship, maintaining all devices in good standard, specifying also the spare parts on board. This is chapter 1 of the securing manual. Chapter 2 deals with information on fixing fixed and portable devices and maintenance, of course. Detailed plan is included here for securing devices in use on that ship, on that particular vessel. Plans illustrate type, location, and number of securing devices on board on each location. Forward, aft, midship. On the location, the total number of securing devices on board is contained in chapter 2 of the CSN. Three deals with handling and safety instructions, evolution of forces acting on the cargo unit. No, this is chapter 3. Points to be considered for safety of the portable securing devices are like this. Duration of voyage, geographic area. I'm sorry, there's a typo here. Geographic area. Geographic area, sea condition, characteristic of the ship, expected static and dynamic forces during the voyage, type of cargo, intended storage pattern. That will be contained in chapter 3. I hope you understand this is a typo. Geographical area of the voyage. Standardized cargo handling and safety instructions is contained in chapter 4. Standardized cargo. In this chapter, you will have storage and securing plans, illustrations for maximum stack weight, limitations and permitted stack heights in chapter 4. Again, this will include inspection and maintenance schemes for this particular securing devices. It could be contained in a separate document. With reference to the CSM, it could be contained, the inspection and maintenance schemes could be contained in a separate document itself. The shipper is supposed to provide cargo specific information so that the ship can evaluate the suitability of cargo for the ship and make decisions on storage and securing. Including, the shipper will also inform what are the securing points. As we had talked about it, if the cargo is brought alongside prior loading on a trailer or a road transport, it is of course secured, but those cannot be the securing points or cannot be assumed to be the securing points for sea transport. This has to come from the shipper. He has to declare categorically what are the securing points for sea transport. Of course, you will have a plan on board which will give you the deck and hatch covers structural capacity, which could be something like 2 to 2.5 tons per meter square load density, which is taking into account just uniformly distributed load 2 to 2.5 tons per meter square without any reinforcement. When it says that you can use reinforcement to increase the uniformly distributed load, can you think of a way, tarika of how it can be done? To increase the UDL, it is already given in the plan, but to increase that, you may use reinforcement or as an interaction. What do you think could be a method? Well, you see, you can't do anything about the weight of the cargo, that is fixed. But meter square, this one you can alter by use of tonnage. Spread the tonnage so that you increase the meter square or the area over which this cargo is going to be transported. You can increase the area meter square by using tonnage. Of course, the weight of the cargo given in tons has to be that is fixed. But you can increase the meter square area of the spread by using tonnage. So we are still on chapter 4. Chapter 4 is also talking about stability documentation, compliance with applicable stability, longitudinal strength in deck cargo. This should be, a part of chapter 4. Intact GM, limit curves, calculated and recalculated with, if applicable, wind profile area. For deck cargo, wind profile area. Windage area, which is. And also damage stability calculations. Which is not really our topic, but when you talk of damage stability, there are two types, probabilistic and determined. Determined and probabilistic damage stability. These can also be part of the CSM. and this will figure in your stability table arc in phase 2. Probabilistic and deterministic damage stability calculations. Damage stability calculations will also include chapter 12, which will take into account flooding of any single hold, progressive flooding, and this will also be compliant. After flooding, what is the minimum draft reached or the maximum draft reached, and then how to create a ship stable in that particular draft. Undoubtedly, very important point of deck cargo is securing of it, because maximum chance of it getting overboard by motion of the vessel, by shipping seas. So in this case, the vessel should be equipped with lashing eyes, container sockets, timber uprights, sockets, chains, wires, etc. So this is taken into account and made a part of approved cargo securing manual. Number of lashing eyes, container sockets, location, where on deck they are located, timber uprights, sockets, chains and wires. Apart from this, if you are talking about timber cargo, this is also included in the timber code. Right. Now, one more thing is there. It goes along with this. The cargo storage and securing code. This is absolutely different code apart from CSM. Cargo storage and securing code, because it becomes a part of it, our discussion. Since we are talking about CSM, this code also becomes a part of our discussion. Accelerations on a ship in a seaway, combination of longitudinal, vertical, and transverse motions. We just now saw that. The forces created by these accelerations give rise to majority of securing problems or accountability. This is addressed in the cargo storage and securing code. Make a note of this code, cargo storage and securing code. This is also our discussion, or can be part of our discussion when you're doing CSM. 1 minute. Yeah. Purpose of this code: to provide international standards to promote safe storage and securing of cargoes. This one. This is the purpose. Then purpose includes a determination that the ship is suitable for the intended purpose or for the intended cargo. Then it goes on to provide advice to ensure ship is equipped with proper cargo securing means. Now the whole thing is to minimize the risk to the ship. Obviously, when you talk of minimizing risk to the ship, you're also taking into account to minimize the risk to the people working on board. It will identify cargoes which are known to create difficulties with regard to storage and securing. It will identify them and then give a word of advice on how this cargo is to be secured. In heavy sea conditions, the problem regarding securing is enhanced. So this is also to be taken into account, and there should be remedial actions in case cargo shifts. Cargo securing and storage, CSS code will have principles of safe storage and securing, suitability of cargo for transport, cargo carried in containers, road vehicles, shipborne barges, railway wagons, etc. When we talk of suitability, cargo distribution is also part of it. Planning, supervising storage, and securing of cargo. To prevent cargo from sliding, tipping, racking, or collapsing. So all the lashings will involve securing against these points. Longitudinal movement, transverse movement, vertical movement due to ship motion. Sliding, tipping, racking, and collapsing. All this should be taken care of while you're planning the securing. And this is why it was said, and we had talked about it. Normal practice of seamanship cannot be overridden. Just the normal practice of seamanship. They will take care of it. But then it can be supplemented by the cargo securing manual, because the manual itself will tell you which part of the vessel on which you are using the CSM for that vessel is most susceptible for shifting.
सर ये CSC इसी का पार्ट है क्या?
Say again please. PST.
CSC Convention for Safe Carriage of Containers.
नहीं वो एक अलग कोड है
वो सेपरेट कन्वेंशन है ना सर?
हाँ right. CSC.
Yes,
I understood now. I got your point. That is a separate code altogether, dedicated to container carriage.
तो ये इसमें CSS में ये कंटेनर्स के बारे में नहीं बताता क्या सर?
कुछ तो होगा, ऐसा नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं होगा, लेकिन
जनरलाइज आइडिया देता होगा.
हाँ जनरल आइडिया होगा. बट इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट CSC, दैट इज डेडिकेटेड टू कंटेनर कैरेज. आई थिंक कंटेनर तो आपका हो गया ना एज कार्गो.
हाँ हो गया सर, पर ये पूछ रहा था इसमें आता कि नहीं आता या सेपरेट है वो, ये जस्ट देख रहा था.
CSC अगर आप बोल रहे हैं तो सेपरेट है, लेकिन उसका मेंशन होगा CSS में भी, बिकॉज इट इज आफ्टर ऑल कैरेज एंड सिक्योरिंग. But definitely CSC is a container code for securing containers, which is a dedicated code only for that purpose. I think it must have been undertaken also. CSC भी बात हो गई होगी.
हो गया सर.
Okay, very good. So very obviously and very simply put, stability of the vessel has to be maintained throughout the voyage within acceptable limits, and excessive accelerations so far as possible should be reduced. Excessive accelerations, which is not only talking about securing the cargo to prevent against motion due to excessive accelerations, it also talks about the alteration of course, reduction of speed to avoid this. Proactive measures to avoid excessive accelerations can include deviating from your passage plan, deviating from your planned course to nullify this, which is not part of securing, but it is again common seamanship that you do everything possible to reduce excessive accelerations. Arrangements for cargo securing should be upgraded periodically as required. It should not be left to assumption. If required, the arrangement should be upgraded. If required, they should be reinforced. See, again and again, both the codes come back to say knowledge of good seamanship because nothing can replace it. Sufficient friction forces should exist between the cargo, ship's deck, or structure between the cargo unit. Sufficient friction that prevents shifting. So steel to steel, not allowed at all. Steel to steel contact. So for this purpose, you use soft boards or tonnage to increase friction. Very concisely, cargoes to be stored and secured so that the ship and persons are not at risk. But this one line explains everything. But then, of course, all the tasks will be undertaken, which is storage and securing, planned, executed, and monitored. Whoever is undertaking this should be qualified and experienced. Sound and practical knowledge of the content of ship's cargo securing manual. For CSS also, cargo securing manual should be frequently consulted. And this is something we keep on emphasizing. I think you will agree with me. Storage and securing to be planned for the most adverse weather condition imaginable during the voyage. So CSS has got 7 chapters, 14 annexes, and 5 appendices. That is the structure of CSS code. 7 chapters, 14 annexes, and 5 appendices. एटलीस्ट ये आप नोट कर ही लो इवन इफ यू कैन फॉरगेट द चैप्टर्स एक्सेट्रा ये भी लिख दोगे तो एटलीस्ट द एग्जामिनर इज अवेयर दैट यू हैव गॉन थ्रू द कोड 7 chapters 14 annexes and 5 appendices अब इसका एक बार रिकॉर्ड देख लेते हैं क्या है ये चैप्टर 1 जनरल इंफॉर्मेशन forces cargo behavior cargo equipment required shipped information shipment information that is chapter 1 chapter 2 details of safe storage, securing of cargo. And these points are considered. Suitability of cargo for transport in accordance with cargo distribution, cargo securing arrangement, residual strength after wear and tear of the cargo securing equipment, residual strength of after wear and tear of cargo securing equipment, frictional forces, shipboard supervision, and of course the CSS code itself. इसको मैं एक मिनट सेव कर लूँ because I think we will need this. I will need to pass it to you. Chapter 3 and 4 talk of standardized and semi-standardized cargo, which include securing arrangements, storage and securing of vehicles. Chapter 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 5 is about non-standardized cargo, storage and securing, and it will include cargoes which are not covered by 3 and 4, which could be containers on non-cellular ships. You have containers on cellular ships, that will make it standardized cargo, but if you load containers on non-cellular ships, this will make it as non-standardized cargo, which is contained in Annexure 1. Portable tanks and receptacles, Chapter 2, Annexure 2. Special wheel-based cargo. Special wheel-based cargo. It is not Ro-Ro, please. These are special wheel-based cargos, which could be a heavy lift, put on wheels, mounted on wheels for maneuvering inside the cargo. That is special wheel-based cargo. And of course, heavy cargos, Lecture 4, coiled sheet steel, a topic which we are going to cover quite extensively. Steel loading, steel precautions, and the carry of steel. In the code, it is contained in Section 5, although steel is a dedicated cargo to be undertaken by us. We are going to discuss steel as a separate cargo to be loaded. But if you talk of CSS code, it is included in Section 5. Coiled steel, hot roll coils, cold roll coils, that one. So it has got issues, which we will see when we do steel cargo. That's how the layout of Chapter 5. Scrap metal included in bulk. This is also a cargo. Although the name is scrap metal, it is also a cargo. Maybe not very high freight, but it is also a cargo normally loaded if the ship, because the scrap metal is going to destroy the bulkheads. Definitely, it is going to chaff against the bulkhead, and the whole bulkhead of the hold is going to get destroyed. So this type of cargo is preferred. I'm saying preferred. It is not that it is not loaded otherwise, but it is preferred for holds or for the ships which are going for scrap. They have no more interest in the maintaining the hold, so they can load scrap metal, even if it is going to harm the bulkheads. Alarm की तरफ जा रहे हैं. Chapter 6 talks about action in heavy weather. 7 is very important. Action to be taken in case cargo has shifted. In case the cargo itself has shifted. Action to be taken when the cargo has shifted. Without going into the section which we are not intended to, because that is not the purview of the subject. If you have a case like this where the cargo has shifted, actions have to be taken. What do you think could be one action to be undertaken if the cargo loaded on your vessel you have cited to be shifting or has shifted? One of the first things you will do is to seek a port of refuge, POR, in consultation with your PNI club also. POR, port of refuge. That is the only way where you seek a port of refuge, you enter a port, and then you restore. It is impossible means almost impossible to take an action at sea. So you will go to a port of refuge in consultation with your consultation with your PNI club.
Sure. Thank you.
ये कोई तंग कर रहा है? And then comes the question about this one. 14 erections, 5 witnesses. 14 erections. This is how it goes. Obviously, it will be highly improbable or demanding to memorize all this. But what I'm saying is that even if you do not remember this and you get a question on CSS, this should be quote unquote. This part you should know. This part you should definitely know. Of course, it will not be easy and will be, not a very good idea to say that we have to memorize all the appendices, etc. But you should know the layout structure. You should know. Okay. The point, but at least you can go through the annexures, 14 annexures. You can go through them. What are we talking about? Safe storage for containers which are not a ship, which is not designed to carry this. Safe storage, securing of portable tanks. Safe storage and securing of portable receptacles. Safe storage for wheel-based cargo, rolling cargo, which is a cargo which has been put on wheels. The only purpose regarding this kind of cargo is to maneuver inside the hold or the cargo compartment because it is based on wheels, so it can be moved around in any convenient part of the hold for stability purpose, for security purpose. Even under-deck storage of logs is addressed in Annex 11. Under-deck store logs. Then comes the issue about appendices. As we have said, it contains 5 appendices. This is how it goes. 5 appendices. Yeah. ये ध्यान से पढ़ लेना. Appendix 5 of the CSS code is talking about recommendation for entering enclosed spaces about ships. Please remember, IMO has got new regulations regarding this, which is going to be part of our topic when in the safety class. IMO regulations, revised regulations for entering enclosed spaces aboard ships. Now, this we have gone through. Standardized cargo, non-standardized cargo. We can overlook this one. And of course, CSM layout also we have seen. ये हो गया. This is been done. Okay. तो ये क्या चीज है? Cargo storage and securing CSS code. Something about SOLAS chapter 6, carriage of cargoes, is coming from a class write-up. Class is the Regulation 5 of chapter 6 talks about storage and securing, done in such a way to prevent or minimize damage to ship and people. Right? 1 minute. Let's go a little further. Carriage of dangerous goods, cargoes, IMDG. This is really a dedicated topic, I believe, which is included in chapter 7 of the solas. Please note cargo securing manual, which is coming from this IMO circular 745. This is to have based on cargo specific and company specific procedures, and it's supposed to be ship specific, which we said. The manual is supposed to be ship specific.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Anji, saying something?
कहाँ पे मैं कहाँ
Nitin?
कहाँ पे मैम कौन बात कर रहा है
Okay, mute हो गए. See, it says safe practice for cargo storage and securing CSS is also included in the manual CSM. That is why we had gone to have a look at CSS also, because somehow it is a part of the CSM. So what the owners or managers operating the vessel need to see is what kind of cargo they may require to carry. Accordingly, they have to prepare the CSM for approval from the flag state. Not all chapters, not all parts will be applicable to every vessel. So when he was designing this, he said bold types are to be included in all cargo securing manuals. Normal type is used for ship specific, voluntary thing, you know, like this one. Guidance preparation, cargo securing manual. This has been read by DNV, but it can be different also. So these are the contents. Just to have an idea, it will go like this: ship data, definition, general information, source of danger, principal sources of danger rather, securing devices, arrangements, storage and securing of cargo. You know, this is the layout of the CSM. Everything will not be part of your study, but you are supposed to know the layout. That is definite. But each part is not applicable. You are not expected to, learn this by heart. To say assessment of MSL for uncertified cargo. No. But you should know there is an appendix here which is going to top of this. You should be able to extract the information. Okay, let's continue. Let's have a look at this. So general ship data, not so difficult, simple. Name, IMO number, etc. and ship dimensions. ये इसमें आ गया, पहली पेज पे आ गया. Reference documents included, which means loading manual, trim and stability booklet is included for reference. So when it says GM range 0.5 to 2.5, he has also written a note that this typical values have been taken in accordance with the values from the trim and stability booklet. In fact, it is very clearly stated that all information captured here, quoted in this manual, should be in accordance with the loading manual and trim and stability booklet, which are also referenced here. So they have to be in accordance with this, nothing from outside. This we have seen. Anything you missed out? For the purpose of RoRo vessels, some more definitions have been included in CSO for RoRo vessels. Just for RoRo vessels only, some more information is captured, including the definitions of semi-trailer, roll trailer, mobile unit, fixed securing devices, portable securing devices. In addition to what is generic in the CSM, for RoRo vessels, this information is also included, which is required for carriage of RoRo. I think you're following, or is there any issue, you can raise it. If there is anything concerning or you think you have missed out, you can raise it. Of course, the lashing arrangements securing devices have to be maintained in the form of inventory, for which reason the CSM specifies that computerized system could be used for inventory. So every time you use a spare, just enter, it will subtract that from the inventory. Updated inventory is always available. These are the examples of fixed securing devices. Example only. D-ring, quantity, MSL, and then maybe sketches also. For lashing plate, manufacturer's yard supply. How much quantity, MSL, is contained in the CSM. Okay. We were looking at something which was being told that we should upload in the link. Can you repeat what was the requirement? Was it something to do with SOP, right? SOP. Who was requesting something for SOP at the start of our session? A request was there कि SOP का कुछ डाल दीजिए. So can you confirm? You can see it now. I put it on the link. Can you check it out? इनफैक्ट CSM भी डाल देते हैं. I have tried to link also cargo securing manual something. So somebody can confirm. You can see SOP and cargo securing manual possible on the link. Nobody. I think it was Chetan. Chetan, you were talking about SOP to be loaded.
Thank you, sir.
Ivan, can be seen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. SOP as well as CSM. Whatever I thought could be passed on to you, CSM भी डाल दिया. You should be able to see both of them. Right? Okay. We have another session, not now. I think tomorrow itself we have another one. Then we can pick up another cargo. We'll see. I think it is cargo work only. ये देखना for the purpose of containers, which could be part of CSC code. This is the kind of information for portable securing devices. This could be contained CSC, container securing code. Lashing bar, lashing wire, turnbuckle, lashing chains. Type, quantity, MSL, and if there is a sketch. Could be. Sketch is always welcome. अगर वो इस CSM में है तो ये बात हो रही है. So this is the information captured, let us say for a container vessel for cargo securing, portable securing devices. Right? So you're okay with it? CSM? Any issues to be raised right now? You can go through the link if you have anything later on. Okay? If you are quiet, then maybe you
सर
can.
कंप्लीट हो गया है
बोलिए, sorry.
सर ये टॉपिक कंप्लीट हो गया क्या
Yes, the main points are covered. Otherwise, I will go through it again. अगर मुझे लगा कुछ है तो we will come back to it. No problem.
ओके सर
Okay, जी. So what you can do is go through the link, see the note. In case you have a difficulty or something to raise, we can do it in next class also. Because somebody had remarked he can only go through it once the classes get over. So I agree with him. तो आप जाइए उस पर नोट देखिए, अगर कुछ लग रहा है तो विल कम बैक टू इट, नो प्रॉब्लम। ओके।
मेरा कितना काम इतना करवाए हम लेकर यो करते नहीं संसार बता है बोले नहीं कर रहे
हाँ फायदे फायदे
मैंने तो इतना बता ना मतलब तो समय कराने का नौकरी आपने लगाया 2 दिन कराए थे मुझे ना 15 भी केस मंगा
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, beta. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, question 5 समझाना please, charge worker.
Okay. Question number 5.
आंसर क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 में भी एक चीज पूछनी थी, पहले आप क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 समझा दीजिए.
Okay, all right. Let's open up question number 5. Just give me a minute. I'll set up.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, beta. Okay, so I hope you can see the assignment question number 5, and you can see the chart also on the right side. So we are going to discuss this number 5 question now. Question 5 says at 0812 hours, Hook Head Lighthouse, bore 295 compass, and Conenberg Light Vessel bore 167 compass. So for this observation, we have 2 compass bearings. So what can we do here, beta?
Horizontal sextant angle से draw करना है.
Very good. So we have to draw the position circle using the horizontal angle method. So with these 2 bearings, what is the angle which you are getting, beta?
Sir 38 complementary angle sir. वैसे 128 और complementary angle 38.
Very good. So in this case, you see the angle which we are getting is greater than 90, right?
Yes sir.
Now greater than 90 में बेटा हम लोग किस तरफ एंगल बनाते हैं? Towards the ship or
opposite side.
Opposite.
greater than 90?
Yes sir, shift के opposite जहाँ पे ship है उसकी opposite side angle.
Right.
Small. Black.
Right. So it will be opposite to the side on which the ship is. So let us first draw the baseline. The 2 lights are Hook Head Lighthouse. So you can see this Hook Head light is here. The second one is Conenberg light. that is here. So let me draw the baseline. This is the baseline here. Now सबसे पहला challenge जो इस question में अब हमारे सामने आता है that we have navigable waters on both sides of the baseline. So how do we find out on which side of the baseline does the ship lie?
सर
So
बेरिंग देख के
सर ऊपर की तरफ है वो
सर
तो
बेरिंग देख के शिप की पोजीशन ऊपर की तरफ है.
राइट सो मैंने आपको बताया था कि अगर हमें कोई भी इंडिकेशन ना मिले तो फिर हम अप्रॉक्सीमेट बियरिंग्स जो हैं कंपास बियरिंग या जायरो बियरिंग जो भी हमें दे रखी हैं उन बियरिंग से ये गेस या एस्टिमेट करते हैं विच साइड द शिप इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू बी. सो दीज बियरिंग्स आर द हुक हेड लाइट इज 295. मैं सिर्फ समझाने के लिए यहाँ पे आपको बना के दिखा रहा हूँ. This is not to be drawn on the chart. So hook head 295 अगर मैं चार्ट पे विजुअलाइज करता हूँ should be something like this. And the Conenbag light vessel is bearing 167. So if I visualize 167 bearing on the chart, it would be something like this. ये सिर्फ विजुअलाइजेशन के लिए मैं बना रहा हूँ जो रेड कलर के मार्किंग्स मैंने ड्रॉ की हैं. So these are intersecting at this particular point. So we are going to assume here that the vessel lies on this side of the baseline, this side, not on this side. So ये पहला challenge था हमारे पास इस question में because we had navigable waters on both the sides. So हमें ये पता चल गया कि हमें ship को किस side में consider करना है. So सबसे पहले तो बेटा यहाँ तक किसी को कोई doubt है बताओ.
नहीं सर नहीं.
नो सर.
वेरी गुड. सो अब हम इन लाइंस को इरेज कर देते हैं. दैट वाज देयर होल पर्पस. सो वी नाउ नो that the ship is, you can say, northeasterly side of the baseline. हमारा जो horizontal angle है that's greater than 90. So we are going to draw the center opposite to the side on which the ship is. So the angle is 38 beta, right?
Sir,
Yeah,
yes,
the
sir,
angle is 38 minus 38. So let's draw this 38 angle on the opposite side to which the ship is. So मैंने ये 38 degrees का angle जो है यहाँ पे बना दिया है. Then the 38 degrees angle made here. And we get the center of our position circle. Now we keep our compass here, open it up equal to either hook head or Conenbag, and we draw the arc of the circle. So ये arc हमने draw कर दी है. Now this is the arc of the position circle where the vessel should lie. And ये जो observation है ये 0812 की observation है. Let me mark it here. This is 0812. अब इससे आगे proceed करते हैं. Now they say the vessel then steered 182 at 9 knots. Southeasterly gales, and there is a current which is setting 250 at 3 knots. The hook head lighthouse dips at 1014 hours. So 2 hours and 2 minutes. First observation was 8:12. The next observation at 10:14. So we have sailed for 2 hours and 2 minutes. So now they are giving us the dipping of the hook headlight. So what we have to do here is we have to find out what is the range at which this lighthouse dips. So इसके लिए उन्होंने compass error and position of the ship at both times is given. Leeway is given to us. height of eye is given to us. So since the visibility is not given here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the geographical range. So geographical range comes to 21.5 miles. So that means I should be 21.5 miles from the hook headlight at 1014. Right, beta? Up to here, everything okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's change the color and draw the position circle. So with my compass centered at hook headlight and range equal to 21.5 miles, let me draw a position circle. So that should be something like this. So I have drawn an arc of the position circle. This is the position circle for 1014. Okay, now I have one position circle for 812, another one at 1014. So I need to transfer this position circle 0812 to 1014. So what I do is I apply the run on the center of the circle.
Why from the center of this?
Why from the center only?
बेटा पोजीशन सर्कल को कैसे ट्रांसफर करते हैं?
नहीं सर, आप ये जो पोजीशन सर्कल है इस पे पीछे की तरफ कहीं भी शिप हो सकता है, तो वहां से भी तो अपन 182 को स्टेयर करके सीएमजी बना के 2 आवर्स और उसके इसको काट सकते हैं, पर आपने सेंटर क्यों लिया ये नहीं समझ आया।
I didn't understand your doubt, beta. Can you say again?
सर आई एम सेइंग कि शिप पीछे वाले आर्क पे कहीं पे है।
कौन से वाले आर्क पे बेटा? ये वाले आर्क पे?
हाँ, इस पे
मैरून
कहीं
कलर
पे।
आर्क. Let me
sir.
give the names. Let this A be A. Let this be B. The center, let it be C.
Okay. The ship is on the arc of AB at 0812 पे.
Right, बेटा. Very right.
तो सर वहां से स्टेयर करेगा वेसल 1990 पे.
Correct. That's right.
तो 190 पे स्टेयर करेगा, तो why we had taken the center point at the C? Why we cannot take that point? क्योंकि 2 घंटे 2 मिनट का डिस्टेंस, तो we can cut from there to here after the CMG. But why you had taken the center?
Okay. So you what you are saying is why?
सर जैसे हम पीएल में करते हैं ना, अगर हमारे पास पीएल होती है तो हम कोई भी एक आर्बिट्ररी पॉइंट वहाँ पे अज्यूम करके वहां से रन लगा देते होते हैं।
ठीक है बेटा, ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है। तो अभी करके देखते हैं। सो हम क्या करते हैं, हम ए से बी के बीच में कोई एक पॉइंट ले लेते हैं। दैट्स व्हाट यू आर सेइंग ना?
दैट्स व्हाट वी आर आस्किंग सर।
That's yes sir.
अभी करके देखते हैं बेटा।
ट्रांसफर का जो प्रिंसिपल है उस पे यही लिखा बताया था ना आपने सर कि वो सेंटर ट्रांसफर करते हैं उसका।
एग्जैक्टली बेटा, अब वो प्रिंसिपल समझते हैं ना उसमें डाउट आ गया है वो प्रिंसिपल में थोड़ा सा डाउट आ गया है। सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड इट। यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट कोई भी अपनी चॉइस का पिक कर लेते हैं बेटा, एनी पॉइंट। बढ़िया सा पॉइंट एक पिक करते हैं। लेट्स पिक दिस वन। ओके, ये एक पॉइंट मैंने पिक कर लिया, इस पे मैंने अपना CTS लगा दिया। लेट्स से दिस वाज, oh सॉरी, इस केस में इट विल बी इफेक्टिव कोर्स। लेट्स से दिस इज माय इफेक्टिव कोर्स। करंट भी अप्लाई कर देते हैं इस पे। दिस विल बी फॉर 2 hours and 2 minutes। लेट्स अप्लाई।
लीवे भी आपको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा।
हाँ बेटा, लीवे ऑलरेडी अप्लाई कर दिया। आई हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन द इफेक्टिव कोर्स।
ओके
190।
से क्यों नहीं ले रहे हैं सर हम? सर वहां से क्यों ले रहे हैं?
बेटा कुछ लोगों को ट्रांसफर ऑफ पोजीशन सर्कल के कॉन्सेप्ट में डाउट है, उसी को समझाने के लिए मैं ये करके दिखा रहा हूँ। दिस इज नॉट टू बी डन।
ओके सर, सी से लेंगे ना सर?
करना है ये सी पे, पर हम इसको अपने सर्कल के किसी पॉइंट से क्यों नहीं कर सकते वो समझ रहे हैं अभी। अभी समझ जाएंगे हम। सो हमने ये अपना इफेक्टिव कोर्स लगा दिया। अब जो करंट है मेरा, द करंट इज सेटिंग 250। ओके, लेट्स पुट द करंट समथिंग लाइक दिस। ये मैंने करंट भी अप्लाई कर दिया। अब मेरे पास ये एक पॉइंट आ गया बेटा। Let's call it C1. No, but let's give it some other name.
D ले दो सर, F लिख दो सर.
Very good.
कुछ भी लिख दो.
Very good. So A, B, C, let's call it D. So अब बेटा मैंने आप जैसे बोल रहे थे कि A और B के बीच में कोई भी एक आर्बिट्ररी पॉइंट लिया, जैसा हम पोजीशन लाइन के साथ करते थे, उस पर रन अप्लाई कर दिया, हमारे पास D आ गया. अब मुझे बिल्कुल ये AB के जैसी आर्क यहाँ D में से पास होती हुई बनानी है. कैसे बनाएंगे बताओ?
ओके, हाँ सर, ठीक है.
सर नहीं समझा, क्या बोला?
ठीक है सर.
ओके, दोबारा से बोल रहा हूँ बेटा.
नहीं सर, ये बना
हमने
लिया, ये यहाँ से CMG नहीं जुड़ेगा. दैट्स आई एम सेइंग.
हाँ, CMG अभी जोड़ देते हैं बेटा. अभी लो, ये लो. लेट्स ज्वाइन द CMG ऑल्सो. लेट मी पिक अप ग्रीन कलर. ये मैंने इको टू डेल्टा CMG भी ज्वाइन कर दिया. ये लो, CMG भी आ गया बेटा. अब मुझे ये बताओ कि ये जो AEB अल्फा इको ब्रेवो जो हमारा पोजीशन सर्कल था, अब मैंने इसे D पॉइंट में से पास करते हुए बनाना है, जैसे पोजीशन लाइन को बनाते थे हम. तो अब मैं ये अल्फा इको ब्रेवो वाला जो सेक्टर है, इसको D पॉइंट पे कैसे बनाऊं बेटा? कंपास को कहाँ रखूं मैं?
सर D पे रख के AC के डिस्टेंस को मारेंगे ना.
अच्छा, D पे मैं कंपास को रख देता हूँ और जितना AC डिस्टेंस है उसको मार देता हूँ, राइट?
यस सर.
तो ये तो सर्कल बेटा ऐसा कुछ आ जाएगा, isn't it?
हाँ सर.
पर ये तो गड़बड़ हो गई बेटा. अगर आप E पॉइंट पे थे पहले, तो आपको डेल्टा पॉइंट पे होना चाहिए था, पर आप तो बोल रहे हो मैं डेल्टा सेंटर के सर्कल पे हूँ. ये तो गड़बड़ हो गई ना.
हाँ सर, समझ गया. ठीक है सर.
अंडरस्टूड बेटा? एवरीबडी अंडरस्टूड?
हाँ जी सर.
वेरी गुड.
तो
बस
सर
बेटा,
इसीलिए पोजीशन सर्कल के जो क्वेश्चंस करते थे, जब लाइट हाउस को सेंटर रखते थे तो उस पे कोर्स लेके, क्योंकि वो सेंटर होता था, इसलिए वहां से शिफ्ट करते थे.
एग्जैक्टली. पोजीशन सर्कल को ट्रांसफ़र करने का हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही मेथड और एक ही रेफरेंस पॉइंट है, वो है उसका सेंटर. आप जब भी किसी सर्कल को ट्रांसफ़र करते हो, तो आप उसके सरकमफ्रेंस पे किसी भी पॉइंट को नहीं पकड़ सकते, क्योंकि जैसे ही आप उसे आगे ट्रांसफ़र करोगे, तो आगे जाने के बाद हम सर्कल को एग्जैक्टली उसी वे में प्लॉट या ड्रॉ नहीं कर पाएंगे. अगर हमें सर्कल को कहीं भी शिफ्ट करना है या ट्रांसफ़र करना है, तो उसके सेंटर से ही ट्रांसफ़र करना पड़ेगा. सो दिस इज़ नॉट टू बी डन. सरकमफ्रेंस वाले पॉइंट को हम ट्रांसफ़र नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो हमें सेंटर पे ही अपना रन अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, एंड वी विल गेट ए न्यू सेंटर. From that center, we will draw the transferred position circle.
Okay sir.
Oh. So shall I erase this now?
यस सर.
Yes sir, total.
Okay. So अब हमें ये समझ में आ गया कि हमें अगर सर्कल को ट्रांसफ़र करना है, तो हमें सर्कल के सेंटर को पकड़ना पड़ेगा. So we do the correct thing now. अब हम इस पे आगे प्रोसीड कर रहे हैं. What I am doing is, let's pick up blue for CTS. मैं अब इस सर्कल के सेंटर पे 2 आवर्स एंड 2 मिनट के लिए अपना इफेक्टिव कोर्स ड्रॉ करता हूँ. मार्क इट विद ए सिंगल एरो. और अब इस पे मैं अपना करंट वेक्टर ड्रॉ करता हूँ. मार्क इट विद 3 एरोज. एंड ये जो पॉइंट मेरे पास आता है, so let's name this point as C1. Now this C1 should be the center of my transferred circle. So अब मैं C1 पे अपनी कंपास को रखूँगा. I will open it up equal to CA और CB, anything, दोनों सेम हैं, दोनों रेडियस हैं हमारे. So I'll open it up equal to CA or CB, and then I'll draw a circle. Let's draw that circle using a different color. So centered at C1, radius equal to CA. I draw this circle. Let's say ये मैं ऐसा सर्कल ड्रॉ कर देता हूँ. अब बेटा देखो यहाँ पे हमने पोजीशन सर्कल को ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया है. जो डार्क ग्रीन कलर का सर्कल है दैट वाज फॉर 1014. जो ये लाइट ग्रीन कलर का सर्कल है ये भी अब हमने 1014 पे ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया है. अब आता है हमारे पास सेकंड चैलेंज इस क्वेश्चन का. सेकंड चैलेंज ये है कि ये दो सर्कल्स दो पोजीशंस पे इंटरसेक्ट कर रहे हैं. ओके, let's name one as X and let's name the other one as Y. So they are intersecting at two places, X and Y. अब हमें ये पता लगाना है कि out of these two which is our accurate position. So अब हम इसको पता करेंगे. इसके लिए मैं क्या करता हूँ, let's first join C to C1. That will give me my CMG. ये मैंने अपना CMG भी यहाँ पे प्लॉट कर दिया है. मार्क इट विद डबल एरोस. अब बेटा जो ये CMG मेरे पास आ गया है, इस CMG को मैं X पोजीशन पे रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में लगा देता हूँ. आई अप्लाई इट इन द रिवर्स डायरेक्शन. नाउ व्हेन आई अप्लाई इट इन द रिवर्स डायरेक्शन, लेट्स चेंज द कलर. जब मैं इसे रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में अप्लाई करूँगा, आप देखोगे ऑटोमेटिकली ये जो हमारा इनिशियल सेक्टर था A to B, इस पे आके मीट करेगा. ओके, माई प्लॉट इज़ नॉट ज्योमेट्रिकली करेक्ट, सो दैट्स वाई ये लाइनें बड़ी छोटी दिख रही हैं, बट व्हेन यू डू इट ऑन द चार्ट इट विल बी एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर. सो एक ऑप्शन हमारे पास ये आ गया पोजीशन का. लेट्स नेम दिस एज Z एंड आई डू द सेम थिंग एट Y ऑल्सो. सो Y पे भी मैं अपने CMG को रिवर्स डायरेक्शन में लगाता हूँ. You can mark it with double arrows and I reach to this position. Let's call it as Papa. So अब बेटा हमारे पास दो पोजीशंस आ गए इनिशियल. One is Zulu Z. This is the position here. The second one is Papa. That's a position here. अब बेटा या तो आपके क्वेश्चंस में इन दोनों में से एक पोजीशन लैंड पे आ जाएगी या नॉन नेविगेबल वाटर्स में आ जाएगी. सो अगर कोई भी पोजीशन इन दोनों में से लैंड पे आ जाए या नॉन नेविगेबल वाटर्स में आ जाए तो वो पोजीशन स्ट्रेट अवे कैंसल आउट हो जाएगी, बिकॉज द वेसल कैन नॉट रन ओवर लैंड और द वेसल कैन नॉट गो ओवर नॉन नेविगेबल वाटर्स. So that will be sorted out if one of the position comes on land or non-navigable waters. Now let's go to the second case. अगर ये दोनों positions ही navigable waters में आ जाती हैं, अगर ये दोनों position navigable waters में हैं और possibility है कि दोनों में से हमारा ship कहीं भी हो सकता है, the track is passing through safe waters, no track is running over ground or over navigational dangers, तो दोनों ऑप्शन आ गए. अब ऐसे केस में क्या किया जा सकता है? अगर दोनों ऑप्शन आ जाते हैं, व्हाट यू डू इज पिक अप एनी ऑफ द ऑप्शंस. इस केस में ज़्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी ये वाले ऑप्शन की है क्योंकि हमारी जो कंपस बियरिंग्स थी दे वर इंटरसेक्टिंग क्लोज टू दिस पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन. सो हम पहले इसे पिकअप करते हैं. इसे पिकअप करने के बाद व्हाट आई डू इज आई टेक द ट्रू बियरिंग ऑफ Hook Head Lighthouse. I can read it off from the chart now, and I take the true bearing of the Conbag light vessel. So इन दोनों को मैं चार्ट से रीड कर सकता हूँ, assuming my vessel is at Z position. जब ये दोनों ट्रू बियरिंग मेरे पास आ जाएगी, इन दोनों की कंपस बियरिंग मेरे पास हैं, I find out the compass error with both of them. सो मैं कंपास एरर फाइंड करूंगा हुक हेड के साथ भी और कॉनिन बैग के साथ भी। अगर मेरी कंपास एरर सेम आती है दोनों केसेस में, दैट मीन्स दिस इज द एक्यूरेट पोजीशन। ओके, दैट्स नंबर 1। बेटा अप टू हियर जो भी डाउट है आपके माइंड में वो मुझे बताओ।
हो गया सर।
ऑल क्लियर अप टू हियर बेटा?
सर एक बार लास्ट
सर ये
पॉइंट दोबारा बताना,
जायरो
कंपास एरर।
जायरो एरर वाला बोला ना सर आपने, सर अगर हम दोनों से चेक कर रहे हैं तो ऑलमोस्ट सेम सेम ही आता है, उसमें कोई ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं आता है, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी मैंने किया है तो मैंने इसी हिसाब से दिया, क्योंकि जहाँ पे कंपास बेयरिंग कट कर रही है उसके पास में सबसे पास में पोजीशन जो है वो बी वाली पोजीशन, जो बी के पास वाली है, तो
राइट।
इसलिए मैंने वो वाला लिया हुआ है। पर
बट
जायरो
बेटा
एरर में इतना डिफरेंस आ नहीं रहा था।
जस्ट टेल मी वन थिंग कि जो
हाँ
ये
जी।
पापा वाली पोजीशन है, इससे
हाँ
जब
जी।
आप कंपास एरर लेते हो तो भी कंपास एरर सेम आती है दोनों केसेस में?
नहीं, सेम नहीं बोल रहा हूँ मैं, सेम आती है, मतलब ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं आता दोनों एरर्स में इतना ज्यादा।
ओके, व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इज लेट अस से वी गो टू पापा, जो हमारी सेकंड प्रोबेबल पोजीशन है। पापा पोजीशन से आप हुक हेड की ट्रू बियरिंग नोट करते हो, राइट? सो आपके पास हुक हेड लाइट हाउस की ट्रू बियरिंग आ गई। दिस इज बेसिस पापा पॉइंट। अब आपके पास हुक हेड की कंपास बियरिंग भी है, आपने इन दोनों से कंपास एरर निकाल ली। दिस इज कंपास एरर 1, यू कैन कॉल इट कंपास एरर 1। अब मैं क्या करता हूं, दिस वाज हुक हेड लाइट हाउस, सो लेट अस कॉल इट HH। Now I do the same thing for Conenberg light vessel. Let's call it Charlie Bravo CB, Conenberg light vessel. Conenberg light vessel की भी मैं ट्रू बियरिंग निकालता हूं बेसिस पॉइंट पापा। Conenberg लाइट वेसल की कंपास बियरिंग भी मेरे पास है और मैं इन दोनों से कंपास एरर निकाल लेता हूं। लेट्स कॉल इट कंपास एरर 2। मैं ये बोल रहा हूं कि दूसरी पोजीशन जो होगी विच इज नॉट अवर पोजीशन, उस केस में जब आप ये कंपास एरर 1 और 2 निकालोगे, they will be too much out. There will be a lot of difference between these two, telling you that this is not our position.
सर जैसे अभी जो क्वेश्चन का आंसर है इसमें 18 डिग्री एरर है, तो ये इसको अपन डिफाइन कैसे करते सकते हैं टू मच आउट वाला सिचुएशन?
No, beta, I'm not talking about the error. I'm talking about the difference in error.
ओके सर।
Okay, the difference in error basis position papa and position zulu, ये निकालना है हमने। जैसे ये पापा में हमने दोनों कंपास एरर को निकाला, इसी तरह जूलू से भी दोनों कंपास एरर को हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं। जहां पे ये दोनों मैच करेंगी मींस डिफरेंस इज क्लोज टू जीरो। इट मे नॉट बी एग्जैक्टली जीरो बिकॉज ऑफ प्लॉटिंग एरर्स, but you will find, let us say, the difference here is only 1 degree, but the difference here is 10 degrees. So it immediately tells you this cannot be my position. Did you get it, beta?
Understood, sir, now.
Okay, good. So let me show you the solution here also. So this is how it is, beta, actually. This is the second position circle. This is the transferred one. And he is straight away shown one position only. And this is the initial position. Now अगर आप ये second position को भी पीछे run up करते, so that would come somewhere here, and in this case the compass error would be too much out basis both the lighthouses, so that's why we have not taken this one. We have taken this one as our position. So is it clear, beta?
यस सर।
चार्ट पे प्लॉट कुछ कुछ ऐसा दिखाई देगा. दिस इज एट एन एंगल दो. दिस इज द इनिशियल पोजीशन सर्कल. This is the final position circle. This is the course distance and current vector triangle. So clear now, beta? Any doubt in the mind still remaining?
नो सर, नो डाउट सर।
Okay, very good.
सर एक बात पूछनी थी।
हाँ बोलो बेटा।
सर इन केसेस में अगर इंस्टेड ऑफ कंपास बेयरिंग अगर ट्रू बेयरिंग दी होती तो हम तो चाहे एचएसए से करें या फिर ट्रांसफर ऑफ पीएल दोनों से हो सकता था ना सर।
बेटा फिर तो सवाल ही खत्म हो गया. Because if they have given you the true bearing, तो फिर तो हम सीधा ट्रू बियरिंग को प्लॉट कर देंगे ना बेटा. सो फिर तो फिक्स आ जाएगी ना.
हाँ सही, ठीक है सर, सही है।
Right, then we will straight away get a fix.
करेक्ट। हाँ सर।
Okay. Okay. So और बताओ बेटा. और any were you able to finish this assignment बेटा?
Yes sir, only this 50.
यस सर, ऑलरेडी डन सर।
सर
हाँ बोलो जी.
सर सेकंड क्वेश्चन में जो सॉल्यूशन आपने भेजा है,
हाँ
इसमें जो अपना पोजीशन आई है उसके ऊपर वाले में जैसे आपने जो दूसरा 073 है वो आपने ऊपर ही लगा लिया, मतलब जब जो पहला ट्रायंगल बना था ना उसी पोजीशन पे जो सीएमजी के 2 पॉइंट्स मिले थे उसी पे लगा लिया। मैंने इसको नीचे शिफ्ट करके जो 2000 पे है वहां से 073 लगा के करंट ऊपर लगाया। सो दिस इज मेकिंग अ डिफरेंस फॉर मी फॉर द 5 डिग्री फॉर द दिस सीटीएस। 090 मेरा आ रहा है, 085 आंसर है। तो मतलब मैंने गलत किया है नीचे
नहीं
शिफ्ट
बेटा
करके?
मुझे एक बार फिर से बताओ कि आपने क्या किया है. जस्ट टेल मी वंस.
सर 2000 की पोजीशन आ गई। हेलो।
सबसे पहले तो सीएमजी आया होगा ना बेटा.
हाँ सीएमजी आ गया सर।
राइट, सीएमजी आ गया
सीएमजी
आपके
आ
पास.
गया, ये ऊपर वाला जो सीएमजी प्रोसीजर है वो हो गया सर। सीएमजी आ गया, उससे मेरा क्या बोलते हैं सीएमजी की स्पीड आ गई, करंट की रेट आ गई, ये सब आ गया।
आपने पीएल को ट्रांसफर किया और आपके पास 2040 की फिक्स आ गई.
हाँ
2040 फिक्स पे आपने सीएमजी रिवर्स लगाया और आपके पास
पोजीशन आ
2000
गई सर,
आ गई. राइट.
पोजीशन आ गई। अब आपका जो सेकंड क्वेश्चन था इसमें 073 टू गुड कोर्स मेड गुड 073 करना है तो कोर्स स्टेयर क्या होगा,
राइट.
है ना? तो इसमें जैसे इस वाले आपकी डायग्राम में आपने ऊपर ही लगा दिया 073 वहीं पे।
करेक्ट. आपने
यहाँ पे
2040 पे लगाया है बेटा.
नहीं, मैंने 2000 पे लगाया है।
2000 पे लगाया. ओके मैं बताता हूँ बेटा. इसमें बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो जो होगा ना, बेस्ट वुड बी
हाँ
कि आप ये काम 2040 पे करो. ओके
क्यों?
मैं उसका रीजन भी बताता हूँ. रीजन उसका ये है बेटा कि देखो 2040 तक तो वेसल पहुंच चुका है. वी नो एट 2040 द वेसल इज एट दिस पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन. नाउ व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू मेक गुड इट विल हैपन आफ्टर 2040 ओनली. राइट.
ठीक है।
सो मैं बताता हूँ आपको व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. लेट मी ओपन इट अप विद अनदर प्रोग्राम. Just give me a minute.
सर जस्ट आस्किंग सर, अगर हम 2000 वाले पे लगा के करते हैं और हमारा आंसर 2 डिग्री कम आता है या 3 डिग्री कम आता है तो ये क्या क्वेश्चन गलत है?
No, beta, it is not wrong. This difference which is coming is basically because of plotting errors. Okay.
तो वो चलेगा ना सर, मतलब
चलेगा बेटा, चलेगा.
सर
It will
5 डिग्री
work.
चलेगा सर, क्योंकि मेरा भी 5 डिग्री एरर आ रहा है 20 पे करने के बाद.
ओके बेटा, फंडामेंटली आपका प्रोसीजर जो है करेक्ट है, पर अब पहले लेट मी फिनिश व्हाट आई
Okay, sir,
रिकमेंड,
okay.
लेट मी टेल इट टू यू. सो उस तरीके से आप करो, देन इवन ए डिफरेंस ऑफ 5 डिग्री इज फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम. सो देखो हमने अभी तक क्या किया बेटा, ये जो प्लॉट हमने किया है इसमें 2040 की फिक्स, 2020 की और 2000 की फिक्स, ये फिक्सेस हमने निकाल ली हैं. हमारे पास 2040 तक की पोजीशन आ गई है. अब मैं इससे आगे प्रोसीड कर रहा हूँ. So what I do from here is, now you see I want to make good 073, right? So what I do is, मैं 2040 पोजीशन से जो ये 073 का ट्रैक है, ये 073 का ट्रैक यहाँ से ड्रॉ करता हूँ. Right. Now I have the current with me. The current is known to me. So what I do
028.
is I apply the current, that is 028. Let us say you can do it for 1 hour. So 1 घंटे के लिए मैं ये current का set and drift लगा देता हूँ. Let's say we reach up to here. And now I cut off my engine distance. Let's change the color. So यहाँ से मैं अपना engine distance जो है ये cut कर देता हूँ. And I join this. So you can call it A, you can call it B, and you can call it C. Just a minute. Right, beta. So this is what I do. From 2040 position, I proceed ahead. I know my CMG now has to be 073. That's what is written in the question. So I plot my CMG. Speed made good भी मेरे पास आ गई है. I have the 2000 to 2040 vector known to me. So I know my speed made good also. तो मैं ये 1 hour की triangle यहाँ पे बनाता हूँ. I apply the current here again for 1 hour. And then at point B, I center my compass, open it up equal to my engine distance for 1 hour, and I cut this arc here. BC tells me what should be my course to steer. This would be the best thing to do.
सर इस वाले में आपने जो अपने पास एसएमजी दे रखी है, तो एसएमजी डायरेक्ट कट के और सेट एंड ड्रिफ्ट कट के वो दोनों मिल जाएंगे तो भी वही आ जाएगा. आपने इसमें इंजन स्पीड क्यों काटा?
Beta, I didn't understand.
सर
See
अपने
again?
पास 1 घंटे की स्पीड आ गई थी एसएमजी.
Yeah, that's right.
ए पॉइंट से अपन ने फोर्स मेड गुड कर दिया, इस पे अपन ने एसएमजी काट दिया. एसएमजी फॉर द एग्जांपल 15 नॉट्स आ गया फॉर 1 आवर.
Okay. Just a minute. Let me read. I got your point. Yeah, you are right, beta. No need to cut this arc here. जो ये आपकी SMG आई है, you just draw that vector here. You will get this point. Join B to C.
सर एक चीज और, मैं सर इस क्वेश्चन में मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, शायद मैं गलत भी हो सकता हूँ. व्हाट मस्ट टू स्टीयर टू मेक गुड 73. इसमें टाइम लिखा हुआ नहीं है कि अपन को 2040 के बाद करना है, तो अपन ने 2040 के बाद क्यों किया?
ओके, बिकॉज बेटा मुझे एक बात बताओ कि ये जो क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे है नंबर 2 क्वेश्चन, जो ये नेविगेटर के माइंड में आया है, राइट? He wants to find the vessel's position at 2020 and 2040.
Yes,
So can you tell me at what time this question came to his mind?
2040 निकल गया होगा उसके बाद.
Right. So 2000 is gone, 2020 is also gone, and 2040 is the observation time, last observation time. सो 2040 पे हमारे पास ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आई है जो इस क्वेश्चन में दी गई है।
ओके
ये जो कैलकुलेशन है ये हम कब कर सकते हैं? द अर्लीस्ट वी कैन डू इट इज एट 2040। तो अगर आप ये अपनी पोजीशन 2040 पे फिक्स कर सकते हो और ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पास 2040 पे आई है एंड यू वांट टू नाउ प्रोसीड अहेड विद 073, तो आप 073 कोर्स मेक गुड कहाँ से करना शुरू करोगे? 2040 से, 2020 से या 2000 से?
हम्म, 2040
Right ना बेटा? That's how what is practically going to happen on the bridge, right?
हाँ सर प्रैक्टिकली ये है, बट हमें लगा हाइपोथेटिकली पूछ रहे, अगर 20 से मैं ये करता तो क्या आता?
No, it's okay बेटा. It is okay. You have done it at 2000, but now you know कि अगर एग्जाम में ये आएगा तो हम इसे 2040 पे करेंगे।
हाँ जी
सर जो सॉल्यूशन है इसमें आपने भी तो पीछे से लिया है।
कौन सा सोल्यूशन? ओके ओके ओके, मींस जो ये
सामने ही तो
सोल्यूशन में दे रखा है।
ये
या दैट्स ओके
हाँ
बेटा, आई आई एग्री, दिस
सर
इज
ये
आल्सो
अगर
डन।
20 100 में भी लगाते ये वाला ट्रायंगल तो सेम ही कोर्स आता है।
एग्जैक्टली बेटा,
सेम
ट्रायंगल तो
मतलब
सेम ही
बिकॉज
बनेगा,
हाँ जी
चाहे आप इसे 2000 पे बना लो, चाहे 2020 पे बना लो, चाहे 2040 पे बना लो, चाहे इस पॉइंट पे बना लो, चाहे इस पॉइंट पे बना लो, कहीं भी बना लो। ओके, अगर आप ये ट्रायंगल को यहाँ भी बना लो तो भी ये सेम बनेगा। यू कैन मेक इट एट अदर पार्ट ऑफ द चार्ट ऑल्सो, द ट्रायंगल विल बी सेम। न्यूमेरिकली आपके आंसर बिल्कुल सेम आएंगे बेटा।
मतलब प्लॉटिंग एरर ये 5 डिग्री का ऊपर नीचे का कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा।
नो 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 नो, ये ऊपर नीचे का कोई फर्क नहीं है। आप इसे चार्ट के किसी भी हिस्से में बनाओगे तो ये ट्रायंगल एग्जैक्टली वैसे ही बनने वाला है, बिकॉज यू सी द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ द वेक्टर्स आर द सेम ना।
यस सर।
सो दिस 5 डिग्रीज इज प्योरली बिकॉज ऑफ प्लॉटिंग एरर्स। सो जरूरी नहीं है कि तुम्हारी प्लॉटिंग एरर हो, ये भी हो सकता है कि दिस गाय मे हैव डन ए प्लॉटिंग एरर, सो डोंट अननेसेसरली वरी अबाउट इट।
नहीं सर गलती हमारी है, बाकी उससे आंसर मैच कर रहे हैं एक नहीं कर रहा तो हमारी गलती है कहीं।
नहीं बेटा, ये देखो जो असाइनमेंट मैं तुम्हें भेजता हूँ उसमें ये क्या लिखा हुआ है? You see this D point? Answers may not match exactly due to variable errors of plotting tools. So the errors could be present in the chart also beta. The chart is also a photocopy. Admiralty chart तो नहीं है. So there is very much possibility of errors. So your solutions are perfectly right. Not to worry. Okay. बस इस बात का ध्यान रखना बेटा. I would recommend making this course distance and current vector triangle starting from 2040 position, because that is when we will be able to make good 073. इसके पहले तो जो मेक गुड करना था वो हम कर चुके, इट कैन नॉट बी अनडन नाउ। वो तो मेक गुड हो चुका, वो तो हमने 3 पॉइंट बियरिंग से सिर्फ फाइंड आउट किया है। सो अब हम 2040 के बाद जो कोर्स मेक गुड करेंगे, दैट वी कैन एंश्योर that it is 073. Okay बेटा?
ओके सर एक क्वेश्चन और था।
बोलो
ये
बेटा।
आपने नहीं दिया था, मैं कहीं देख रहा था, उसका था मेरे समझ में ही नहीं आया बिल्कुल भी। 2 लाइट हाउस है, दोनों की बेयरिंग दे रखी है।
बेटा बेटर होगा अगर आप मुझे वो क्वेश्चन भेज दो।
ठीक है सर, ठीक है सर।
ठीक है, you send me that question and let me see it. Let me set it up here and then we'll see.
ओके सर।
Okay. Okay. So more or less we are done with our first session. So shall we take a break now?
Yes, sir.
So let's take a break. Shivang is sending me a question. So send the question. Let me see if it is already done. Then we'll discuss in the class. Otherwise, we'll go ahead. So what time you will be back?
Sir, जब आप बोल दो।
Anytime.
हाँ जी सर।
ओके ठीक है बेटा, लेट्स बी बैक एट 45.
ओके सर।
ओके